What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Charm City Heavyweights. This is Ravens Trivia, brought to you again by Great 8 Sports Memorabilia in Parkville, Maryland. I'm the host, Matt Trigger, and this is Ravens Trivia Part 2. Last time, nobody won the Jonathan Ogden signed photo giveaway, so we are going to rock out again for the second time in a week, trying to get rid of some of this memorabilia autographs that we have, courtesy of our sponsor, Chris Ruling. So, I have 4 guests tonight. This is multiple choice. First of 3 answers correctly wins the poster. We will be doing future giveaways, but let me introduce everybody, that's going to be participating tonight. One of my listeners, my cousin Allie.
Hi.
We got Evan. One of my buddies from Driving to the Top Productions. He made my fantastic intro video. He is digital media extraordinaire. Evan, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. He's a Cleveland Browns fan, just to let everybody know. Got my man Roosevelt again. He was the participant last week. He said he wanted it in again this week.
What's happening? What's going on?
And local YouTube sensation from Baltimore. I played flag football with this man about 20 years ago. We've known each other that long. My boy Kay. Kay, what's going on, man?
What's going on? Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, we're gonna, just a little bit simple. So everybody, I'm changing it up this time, everybody. I just wanted to let y'all know that it will be multiple choice, so that way you can just write your answer down on a piece of paper and hold it up. I'm going to keep score. This isn't going to be very long. This isn't going to be drawn out. These are easier questions. Rose, I know that I got you stumped on a couple of them last time. So, yeah, you protested, so I'm giving you another shot, my man. So let's get this started. The questions will pop up on the bottom of the screen. So the first question of the show: which Ravens cornerback was drafted in 1998, 10th overall?
Can I just hold it up when I'm ready?
Dwayne Starks, Chris McAllister, Jimmy Smith, or Lardarius Webb?
Shit.
So I can't find a pen or a piece of paper right now, but I think I know the answer.
All right, so we got B from K, we got A from Roosevelt. Evan, what is your answer, my man?
I'm going with A.
All right, A. And Allie, what is your answer? A. B. Okay. So the answer to the first question is A. Dwayne Starks.
Bam.
Dwayne Starks was drafted in 1998. So Evan and Rose have one on the board.
Okay.
So that right there was an easy one. Second question: which current Ravens player for 2? A. Lamar Jackson, B. Pat Ricard, C. Kevin Zeitler, or D. Jadeveon Clowney? All right. I got B from Allie. I got B from Kay. I got B from Rose and Evan. My man,
B.
what you got? All right. The correct answer is Project Pat. So everybody has got one on the board.
Your new left guard.
Evan and Rose got 2 on the board. Our new left guard. Correct. All right. Third question. Right now, Evan and Rose have 2 each. They each get it right. We go into sudden death for the
Can I
last
ask a question before you read
Which
the question?
college did Torrey? What's that?
Did you talk about wide receiver Torrey Smith, correct?
Yes, there's only one Torrey Smith that we know of.
Okay.
All right, so Allie, Kay, and Rose all have A for Maryland. Evan, your question.
A from Maryland.
All right. So that gives Evan and Rose 3. That gives Allie and Kay 2. So we have a tiebreaker. Allie and Kay, I appreciate y'all coming on the show. If
Appreciate
y'all want to
you.
hang around in the studio, I'm gonna talk a little bit of Ravens after I get off of the trivia. Evan or Kay, if you want to stick around for a couple minutes.
Sure, for sure.
Evan and Rose are gonna go to sudden death. This is the last question for us. Allie, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, sweetheart. It's always good seeing you.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Hey, I'm just trying to do something different. Football's about to get real monotonous around here. Kay out in the background. We'll shut up a couple minutes. All right.
All right, cool.
Got. All right, bro. All right. So this is the tie-breaking question. Rose and Evan. This is for the autograph, and this is for the all the marbles, I guess you want to call it, my man. All right.
we go.
What pick was Lamar Jackson in the 2018 NFL draft? Was it A, 22
D.
overall, B, 23 overall, C, 40 overall, or D, 32 overall?
D.
I got
All right, we got
32
another
on that.
tiebreaker. Jesus. All right. All right. So we got to go to a cool. This is going to be for every. This is going to be for the Ogden picture. You guys are both at 4. This is going to be it right here, guys. I only had 4 questions available because they were easy. So, which one of you can correctly tell me what was the score of the first Ravens Super Bowl victory in 2000? What was the
Good
score of the
God
Ravens and
Almighty.
Giants Super Bowl?
I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait.
35-7.
Okay, Evan.
That's not right.
You said the first Ravens Super Bowl.
You got 5.
And they played against who?
The New York
35-7,
Giants
that's
in
what I'm
Tampa
going
Bay.
with.
35-7.
You were both incorrect. It was 34-7.
Oh, you.
I know y'all both did not just lose this game. I know it.
So we don't get another question. We both got a tie and a loss.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'll let you. I'm gonna let you break the tie. I'm gonna let you break the tie. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to let
That's
you break
crazy.
the tie. I'm gonna let you break the tie. Okay.
Yep.
This is a true or false question. Okay. This is a false question. Did Bam Morris ever play running back for the Baltimore Ravens?
True.
I'm gonna go with false just to break it.
The answer is true. Bam Morris was a running back in the NFL for the Baltimore Ravens for a season. So, Evan, thank you for participating, my man. I am going to give you a consolation prize. I'm going to text you and hit you up later and let you know what it is. Ruse, you win the Jonathan Ogden picture. Thank you for participating, my man. I will get this to you. I'm going to get this to you ASAP. So I might just have to meet you during the week, so I ain't got to waste postage. Okay, I'll get this to you. Thank y'all for participating. I got you, my man. Thank you all for participating in the game. I'm going to move on to the next segment of the show. Evan, I'm going to chop it up with you a little bit later. Rose, just if you want to hang in the background, you can. If not, just keep on viewing.
All right, appreciate it, bro.
What is up, Kay? What's going on? How you feeling?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm ready for some football. I know that's for sure.
Yes. I haven't been on the air in about a week. It's been a little bit of a crazy ride. We got some Ravens that we can chop it up and talk about. We just added Ronald Darby, and we just added Jadeveon Clowney, who's wearing number 24.
I hate it.
For the time being. I know that's going to change. I hate it too, but it's going to change when we cut down. I think he's going to end up getting 91 from that dude Nichols or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
It's been getting a little chippy at It's been getting a little bit chippy at practice this week, Kay. A lot of fights with the Commanders. Very, very, very aggressive set of practices with the Ron Rivera-led Washington Commanders. Morgus, Devin Duvernay, Mark Andrews, Tylan Wallace.
Yeah. That's normally always the case when they go up against a different team in training camp, though.
Are you for or against the joint practices leading the game?
I mean, I understand why they're doing it because, we have one less preseason game now, even though it's the same team. I think it's always good to line up against somebody different. I mean, you lined up against your teammates for the whole training camp. They get to know what you're doing. They get to know what your go-tos are. So I think it's good to line up against some other players. As long as nobody gets hurt, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I hear you. I like the fact that they can match up against different people and see all the work they've been putting in the off season and all that. It's just a little dicey, with all of our players. More is in there punching with their helmet on, and Tylan Wallace is throwing punches, and Andrews hurt one of their players. I wouldn't be surprised if he had some sort of fine or disciplinary action from that. And Duvernay came over and slammed somebody. I'm cool with it to an extent, but when you start getting these massive amounts of fights, it's a little rough.
Yeah, I think you got to be really careful who you pick for those type of games as well.
And I understand it. They're right down 95. We're going down there to play them, in a couple nights. It's one of those situations where where it makes sense geographically, but when you start getting into these situations where guys are getting hurt or allegedly getting hurt, it's really rough. Okay, you got to really just be careful about the whole situation. And I know I haven't been on air, Kay, to really talk about the game last week, but it was just awful funny to me how Keaton Mitchell goes out there and busts his ass and makes play after play in the return game and on the ground, miraculously healed, and he's back at practice the very next day. Yeah. The very next day that they're back on the field, you see JK all over Ravens social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. JK's back. Yeah, because Keaton Mitchell just bust off a 35-yard touchdown run, and he looked good in the return game.
Yeah, but I think everybody knew that he wasn't out there and it wasn't health related. I think we all know that it was contract related.
But now here's the thing, and I'm not equating JK to Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell's a baller. He's a second generation Raven. The man was one of the fast kids in college last year, clocked on the 40. his speed translates as rare for, everybody. The fastest college football player running in shorts and a t-shirt is not the same as
Right. Running with
football
pads and
fast
stuff
on
Right.
the field with full pads. But I think JK kind of had a little bit of a reality check on Saturday night and into Sunday morning when he realized, hey, Keaton, Justice, and Gus can do what I do for a lot less money than I want to do it for. So he got his ass back to camp. I believe that wholeheartedly he got his ass back to camp just for that purpose alone. I don't think that it was anything more than his agent probably called him and said, yeah, you might want to get back there and stop the holdout runs. The thing is, if he would have, it would have been detrimental to his calls anyway. So he got back when the time was getting, ripe to back. And
I mean, I think his
Gus
best
is going to be Gus regardless.
Yeah, I'm just thinking his best chance at actually making a significant contract with the Ravens or with another team is if he comes back this year and runs for 1,300 yards, 10 plus touchdowns. That's his only route to getting a big contract. Holding out wasn't going to get it for him, so he got to come and put up numbers, stay healthy, and put up numbers, and then he'll get some money. The running backs are not really getting those big contracts like they used to, but he'll get a little bit more than your run of the mill, third, fourth round pick running back. He'll get a decent contract if he has a good season.
I believe he will too, but I also believe that he's not going to have the opportunity to be a 1,400 yard back unless he's dynamite again and he's getting 6 or 7 yards a touch.
That might be possible with the offense
JK,
spread like we think.
Yeah, right. But the thing is, if we're going to go to this spread offense, this more up-to-date NFL offense, you still got to Zay, you still got to feed OBJ, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman. That's 4 quality above average to superb pass catchers. Then you got Isaiah Likely. You're going to have Nelson Aguilar hanging around. You're going to have either Treadwell or Prochet hanging around, and I don't think Prochet's making this team this year. So
you think Wallace
there's a lot hanging around. I think Wallace is going to make the team for the simple fact that he's a team. He plays all 4 phases of special teams, Kay. And you and I balled out together. A way to get on the field and stay on the field and stay on the team is you got to play on punt return, kick return. He does all that. He's a gunner on punts. He he does kickoff coverage. He blocks on kick returns.
Let me ask you this question though.
He does everything. And
let me ask you this question because I have a feeling there's going to be, maybe not to everybody, but to the casual fan, I think there's going to be a surprise cut this year. If you had to guess who that would be, who would you say that the most unlikely cut that people wouldn't be expecting?
It's going to be unpopular because of the fans liking him. I think it's going to be Duvernay. If we can't find a trade partner for Duvernay, I think that right now as it stands, I like Devin Duvernay. Let me preface it by saying I like Devin Duvernay. He's very valuable to the team. But everything we just talked about, Kay, to be fair, Justice Hill is a better return man. He's cheaper.
Hold on.
Devin Duvernay's making almost.
You said Justice Hill is a better return man than Duvernay? I mean, he did go to the Pro Bowl maybe 2 years. Returner.
He went to the Pro Bowl 2 years ago, but when Devin Duvernay went down last year, Justice Hill came in, played admirably. The thing is, Justice Hill is not only a return man, he's a receiver out of the backfield, and he plays all the special teams as well. So he is a multifaceted player for John Harbaugh. So here's my justification to it. You got the 4 main pass catchers pitchers that we talked about. You got to feed God, feed JK. It's going to come to a point in time where are you going to pay $5 million to a guy that might touch the ball 25 times all year?
Is that how much he's getting paid right now?
Are you going to really keep that on your? He's getting paid 4.5 in the final year of his deal. He was a 3rd round pick. So you really got to look at it like it might surprise some people. He's not going to clear waivers. I know that. I might be saying something completely out of pocket right now. Duvernay could very well be on our team come week 1, but I'm just looking at it. He's in limbo because he doesn't really have a spot in this offense. It's a more vertical game.
Yeah.
It's not suited to what
Jet
he's been
sweeps
doing the
and all
last
that.
4 years. And the thing is, when Duvernay came on the field on offense, he was going in motion constantly. It was predictable as could be. No doubt about it, it was predictable. So the only other person I could see being a potential surprise cut, we mentioned him earlier in the trivia portion. If Ricard doesn't convert, now there's been reports that Ricard asked to be switched off of the offensive line transition and go back to tight end. Right now, as it stands in this offense that we've seen from camp and from the first preseason game, Andrews is not coming off the field unless he's hurt.
No.
Isaiah Likely is a hybrid tight end wide receiver. Charlie Kohler is looking good from all accounts. He looks healthy. He can block and he can catch. Ricard is the odd man out. Ben Mason, who we drafted to play fullback a couple years ago, is getting a lot of reps at that position. He's smaller.
Yeah, I noticed
he
that.
He can be your inline tight end. That's what he played at Michigan. What he did at Michigan is what he's doing in this offense. I'm not saying he's talent wise, but he's our version of Chris Cooley that the Redskins had 15 years ago.
Kyle
The
Juszczyk.
smaller, the Kyle Juszczyk, the smaller H-back that goes in motion and collects the motion. So to me, Mason makes this team. We've already let him get away once.
Yeah.
We let him get away to the Patriots once, and he came back after we snatched him off of their practice squad. To me, I think Ricard might be the odd man out because of his contract and because of he's positionless right now. And I know that when he first got here years ago, he was a defensive tackle. Then he became the defensive tackle / goal line fullback, and then he became more of a permanent fixture on the off. And that's is in a distant memory right now.
Yeah.
So he has no position. He's not going back to the defensive line after being a key cog on the offense for the last 3 years.
Right.
They don't have any room for him over there on the defense anyway. You got Travis Jones, you got Michael Pierce, you got Brent Urban, Roderick Washington, Justin Matabike. You got Jadeveon Clowney who can play inside as well. You're not going back over there.
Yeah.
You buried on the depth chart.
That might be true.
That's a rough situation. And,
So
and I
I
don't think there's.
No, I was just saying I was going a little bit somewhere different with that for the original question. But now that you say that, I think that's really likely. But where I was going originally is, and I don't know who it's going to be, but I think it's going to be in the running back room. Because I don't think they keep 4 running backs.
I don't think they keep 4 running backs as well, but I think they can afford to keep 4 backs if they don't have Ricard
A fullback,
in the plan.
But they still got Mason.
They might, but the thing is, Mason end a lot easier. You can justify keeping 4 tight ends. Somebody is going to be disappointed in the cuts. I think we're going to keep less wide receivers than but we have tight ends that can.
Hey Matt, you breaking up?
catch the ball. 5 receivers. OBJ, Zay, Bateman, Aguilar, Wallace. That could be our 5, you know?
I'm thinking Wallace gone, honestly. What you think about Treadwell?
I think Treadwell might be one of those guys. He might be like one of those insurance wide receivers that we keep around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the cuts. So the cuts now are after the final preseason game, right?
Yes, they do all the cuts at one time now. So it's not like a gradual cut down like it's been the last couple years. And we have one of those situations now where we're going to have to make a lot of difficult decisions at once. And we're going to be scouring the waiver wire for other surprise cut downs as well.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a surprise. There might be a surprise cut. I think so too. I think one of these teams are going to cut a cornerback. Like, okay, today, Philadelphia cut Greedy Williams. It shocked me that I didn't see Greedy Williams was claimed by Baltimore on the waiver wire. Now, Greedy's bounced around between 2 teams the last 2 years. He didn't even really stick in Philadelphia that long in the first place. But if we go into the season today with the cornerbacks that we got, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Are we not?
I think you think they regret not bringing Peters back.
I think it's hindsight's always 20/20 to me. Hindsight is always 20/20 to me.
Even when he was out there, we were still short. We still needed him at that time before they brought in Rock.
Yeah, but I think there was too many other mitigating factors to the reason why he wasn't in the Ravens uniform. I think it had a lot to do with him calling Lamar Jackson about, not playing in the playoff game. And I think it had a lot to do with him blowing up at Harbaugh on the sidelines. And at that point, the shine had worn off of the 2019 year when he got here, where he was electric. He was, he had 4 interceptions as a Raven, took one of them to the house or 2 of them to the house. And the edge was gone. The edge that he brought was gone because it was replaced by arguably Roquan Smith.
And he also had a down year last year.
He did. And generally when a player comes back from an ACL tear, their first year back, they're not the person that they were before. It generally takes a whole nother calendar year to really get back into the feel for the game of cutting and planning and trusting your knee. If Marcus Peters goes out and has another Marcus Peters kind of year, I'm going to be a little bit upset come January. But I think it was just weight baggage to bring him back into the fold. And I love Marcus. I loved him while he was here. Political at that point. And when you're calling out your quarterback, who's now your $260 million quarterback, it's not going to sit well because it allegedly divided the locker room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We'll see how everything plays out. Hopefully, we can generate a little bit of pass rush to offset the secondary. I think we're strong at safety though, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I'm curious about safety because we didn't really do a whole lot to shore that up. We lost Chuck Clark. Prayers go out to Chuck. He tore his ACL in camp, so he's going to miss this whole year for the Jets.
I think they
You
really
got
like Stevens.
Kyle Hamilton, who's probably they moved him back to cornerback this year. When Marlowe went down, Harbaugh came out and said Stevens is a. They moved Daryl Worley from cornerback to safety this year. Well, I think we might see like early on while Marlon's hurt. I think we might see Hamilton play inside in the box a little bit more, and we might see Worley and Marcus Williams as our two deep safeties, or Marcus Williams and Geno Stone as our deep guys. And I think we might see Kyle Hamilton take on the role of inside the way that they had Marlon taking on the role early on, just to kind of supplement what's going on the back end of the defense. But like you said, pass rush is everything for us right now. So are we going to expect Ojabo and Oweh to take that step? I'm not anticipating Jadeveon Clowney coming in here and having 10, 12, 14 sacks. He's never been a double-digit sack guy, so I'm not really worried about that.
Well, what we can hope for is that we get that pressure up the middle. You know, we missed Pierce all last year. So hopefully we can get some pressure up the middle with either him or Madubuike, and that'll make the job a lot easier on the outside pass rushers. And then hopefully eventually we'll get Bowser back whenever that is. I think we have some potential there. It's just putting everything together.
I agree with you. Bowser, I'm really, I'm trying to understand. They haven't really said what Bowser's issue is. And whenever they're dodgy about player injuries, I'm very skeptical. Yeah. Harbaugh's a master of dodging questions of that nature. So I'm always like on like the defensive when it comes to that. And to be fair, it's going to be a strength for us when it comes to run defense this year.
Yeah,
Jadeveon's going to set he's going to set the edge very well, and it looked like Ojabo struggled setting the edge against the Philadelphia offensive line on Saturday night. So I'm last week. So I'm worried about, I'm not necessarily worried, but I think that it's Jadeveon and Ojabo on the same side, to where you bring in Jadeveon for the rundowns, kick him inside for the pass downs next to Pierce or Madubuike or whoever. I think that Clowney, to me, takes on the role of Calais Campbell this year. The veteran, the big guy that can get in there and get you some inside pressure, can do what he got to do for the defense all across the line, and a nose tackle. So that's where I'm at with that. I think that we can reasonably expect that our run defense is going to be up to par, as long as Pierce can stay healthy and we don't have to rely on Broderick Washington kicking inside to the nose like we did. I think he's better suited for the 3 or the 5 technique, like Justin Madubuike is, where Madubuike is more of a 5 or a 7 technique. So, yeah,
I like Jones, though.
The defense to be. I like Jones too, but I don't think Jones is at the point where he's going to be the anchor that we're looking for. And I really like the Travis Jones. I like his potential, but until you can see, the thing is, Ravens fans, we've been Ravens fans since they got here, and it's really hard because we are used to stellar inside defensive tackle / nose tackle. We had Goose, we had Adams. We transitioned into Kelly Gregg, transitioned then into Haloti Ngata and Trevor Price. Then we had Brandon Williams for 5 years, and we had Pierce when we drafted him. So there's a standard that you got to have to be a defensive interior monster for the Ravens. And I really want him to be that person. I just don't know if he's quite there yet.
Right.
That's just me, though. I'm not sure if he's quite there yet. It's like though. It's the problem. Hey, I like them, and I get these guys because we draft them and they look good and their draft profiles look good, and they make a play here, they make a play there. But you got to realize when it all boils down, we're in the North as the black and blue division. We are in a very rough and tumble division with 3 very good running backs on these other teams between Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, and Nick Chubb. So you cannot be a slouch on that inside when it comes to playing defensive line for the Baltimore Ravens. And like you said, a lot of this is going to hinge on Michael Pierce. I want to ask you a question, though, okay? You asked me what surprise cut that we might have this year. I gave you an offensive player or 2. Do you think there might be a surprise defensive cut from somebody that you're not expecting to be cut?
All right, so let me think at a position where we're a little deep. I wouldn't say anywhere in the secondary as far as like safety, corner, no. Middle linebacker, you got Smith, PQ, Smith. If I had to guess, it's going to be somebody on that defensive line. I'm thinking maybe like a Brent Urban, maybe.
Yeah, and I like Brent. I for some reason I've always I didn't want us to release him the first time he got cut. Then he went and played in Tennessee and Dallas for a while. And then he came back last year, field goal kicks. He was stellar in rotational play, spelling Calais Campbell. It would be sad to see him go, but I really do believe that the surprise cut is going to come on the offensive side of the ball. I highly doubt the first instinct for the Ravens would be to cut Devin Duvernay, but I
can't see that happening.
Where he fits because my thought process is that really I likely could be your wide receiver 4.
Well,
if you
I don't
really
think
wanted
he
to like break that down, he could.
Well, no, what I was saying is I don't think
he's a hybrid.
But I don't think he gets cut because of his special team play as being a Pro Bowl returner. I don't think they really. Well, I mean, because you got to think he's the fastest player on the team. So I think they like his home run ability as a punt and kick returner, if nothing else.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair, Kay. I'm not. I'll give you that. That is fair. I just think that it's a money thing more than it is a talent thing. I think they could have other guys that they can pay less money to and that will do more for the team. Because Dude doesn't play teams other than return. He doesn't play the other side of special teams. And like we talked about in the beginning of the second segment, where is he really going to get reps over Zay, OBJ, and Bateman? But the thing is, though, I could be wrong because Jay and Bateman off injuries. Yeah, I mean, they're coming off injuries. So do you keep Devin Duvernay around in case one of those guys goes down and can't give you 17 games? And I don't really think any of our wide receivers will give us 17 games, with the exception of Zay, because he doesn't really have any injury history or anything to worry about at this juncture.
I haven't been having this debate with a couple people. So the wide receiver room as it stands right now, who do you think is the best receiver we have? Because a couple people telling me some different things, and I want to wait to see what you say first.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Let me rephrase it. Who's going to be our leading receiver?
I'm not going to give Zay. I believe it's going to be Zay. For the simple fact that Zay has shown in limited situational football that he has the ability to separate.
Mm-hmm.
a lot better than the other receivers we got. Now the best wide receiver we got talent-wise on this team right now might be Rashad Bateman. He has the most tools that would consider him the most. If you're talking about respect and name value, it's definitely Odell Beckham Jr.
Mm-hmm.
But are we going to get the Odell Jr. that was prime LA Rams form from a couple years ago?
Yeah, it's going to be hard. So my pick was, I think our leading receiver is going to be Bateman.
That's a fair assessment.
Only reason I say that is
what's
because
behind it.
So I think now, of course, this is all predicated on him staying healthy. But if you look at his production in the games he played, I think he is one of the most all-around talented receivers that the Ravens have had on their team. And he's not like, if you want to go to Hollywood or Torrey Smith, which in my opinion, they were more of a one-trick pony, like deep ball, slant ball, and take it from that. But I think Bateman can run every route. He can go deep. He can go short. He can make people miss after the catch. And I think in this type of offense, when you want to be spread out more, he's going to have an ability to take those short passes and take them deep. So I think he's, like I said, if he stays healthy, that's it. If he stays healthy, I think he'll be the leading receiver, but it won't be by much. I think all of the receivers, out the top three will be fairly close in receptions and yards, I think.
I agree with you with that. Your justification for it is spot on. If Bateman remains healthy and he can play, if he can give us 12 to 13 games, I think he leads the team in receiving yards. Now, do I think he leads the team in touchdowns? I truly believe it's going to be either Odell or Mark, based on their abilities in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
And if Lamar can shore up the red zone passing, I think that he's going to target 89. We all know 89 is the guy. But I think him and Odell are going to have a good connection in the red zone. But I think in terms of reception yards, you might be correct. Bateman has that home run ability. And I haven't seen Zay against a starting caliber cornerback safety yet to really determine whether or not he's going to set the entire league on fire. Now, do we have our version of Garrett Wilson? We might. He might come out and have an 1,100-yard rookie season where he's the second leading receiver behind Andrews in almost every statistical category. That could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if it's going to happen. There's a lot that goes into it. I think Andrews is going to have a down year in yards, but I think he's going to have an up year in touchdowns.
I was just about to say that. I think Andrews' production is going to go down because of the receiver, but more so because of Likely. I think Likely is going to take. I think Likely is the wild card on this offense. There's a lot of people we're not talking about right now, but just the prospect of having him and Andrews attacking the middle of the field it's going to be something to see.
Fans are gonna. I think I might get bitched at a little bit with what I'm going to say to you. Okay, is Andrews' contract is up soon. I believe this is his contract year, if not next year.
Mm-hmm.
$1 million. If Isaiah, I believe Andrews isn't long for Baltimore and is 30.
It depends. So if there's another season where Lamar is highly dependent on a tight end, I think he stays. But if the offense really evolves and he starts getting his wide receivers more involved, and you see that production, not from Mark Andrews alone, but from the tight end position in general, you see that tight end position relied on a little bit less and more reliance goes on the wide receivers, then yeah, I could definitely see that. Because of course he has this contract, right? Lamar just got this contract. So they're gonna have to make some cuts somewhere. They're not gonna be able to pay everybody.
And the longer you kick the can and restructure that big quarterback deal down the line, you might have one of those situations where the hit is going to be $75 million if you keep on asking that man to restructure his money. Yeah, I think Andrews is playing for relevancy because he had that 1,300-yard year a couple years ago. Then his production dipped off. He started getting a little banged up, and now offense where he sees production flip like could be Isaiah likely is that guy that you think he might. You're looking at a different situation altogether.
Yeah, and then also you got to think about Kohler. They really like him. They drafted him before he drafted Likely. So you see what he has to offer.
The last time the Ravens doubled up on tight ends in the NFL draft was the year of
Hayden Hurst,
Mark Andrews, and Hayden Hurst. And then before that it was the Ed Dixon and Dennis Pitta draft. So you know it. So
and Dixon was the first and Pitta was the second.
Yeah. That's how it's going every single time where the second tight end we draft has always ended up being the better of the bunch. But I think it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking to see, I don't really care about this record preseason streak that they got going on. I think it's
not at all.
It's much to do about nothing. If anything, it's a testament to the depth that we've had in camp all these years.
The drafting.
Yeah, it's been a mixed bag, but I just want to see them go out there and compete and get some meaningful reps. They already announced that Tyler Huntley's not playing. They said that Josh Johnson's going to start the first half, and then it's going to be Anthony Brown in the second half. So, barring any setbacks, I think that Josh Johnson has a good grasp of this offense. It showed early on, and everything's obviously for obvious reasons. I just want us to go out there and not make a lot of mental mistakes and not make a lot of little mistakes that could be corrected in training camp. So that's where I'm at with that.
I just want to see some of the young players make some plays, get some confidence going in to the season, because there's a couple younger players. I didn't remember seeing Trenton Simpson out there last week. Is he hurt or what's going on with him?
You were breaking up. Who were you asking about? I'm sorry.
I didn't remember seeing Trenton Simpson out there last week. Is he hurt?
I don't know if he's hurt or if he just didn't get in until the end of the game. Harris played on the entire game at middle linebacker. I'm not sure if he got in or not. I'm about to go back and take a look at that. But that's somebody I'm interested in seeing as well, because if he's anything like they're expecting, PQ is expendable at the end of this year, if not at the trade deadline. So I'm interested to see that as well.
If not, well, I don't think so now, because we haven't been hearing it. You know how normally if somebody's really doing good in training camp, his name is all over the media. Haven't really heard anything about him this whole training camp. But there was a lot of thoughts that PQ might be getting traded before the season start. But I think
I don't know, Kay. If you would have asked me this 3 weeks ago, I would have said, yeah. I would, one of these linebackers around the league goes down and a team gets desperate and they call and say, hey, we'll give you a 3. I think the Ravens would jump on it. I'm not sure
take
if
a 3. I wouldn't take a 3. I want a 2. I want a 2 or a
But,
player, a corner.
I think they could probably snag a corner for somebody that has depth. I just don't know what he nets you because I'm pretty sure they shopped PQ around in the off season and probably didn't like what they were getting offered. Yeah, I'm a little skeptical about trading anybody in the linebacking core. Anybody on the defense getting traded at this point, even though we're a good unit, there's just Marlowe really hurts, man. That really stings.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he comes back in October,
hopefully we 2-2 by then, at least, and not 1-3. But with that being said, though, PQ, I think PQ might have 5-6 sacks this year.
Yeah, the way he blitzes, man, it reminds you. He blitzes the way that Donnell Ellerbe used to blitz. That's how he reminds me of a smaller, stockier, quick linebacker, and he's got the the agility to move side to side and chase these quarterbacks. I could see him having a 5 or 6 sack year. I just hope he's not the one that's leading the team in sacks. It's going to be a long year if your middle linebacker is your sack leader.
Yeah. So with that being said, I know we're coming up on an hour, but I got a question for you. So I want to hear your opinion on these things. Our leading rusher.
Okay.
Our leading receiver. Our leading sack guy, and our leading guy in interceptions.
Marcus Williams is going to lead in interceptions. I believe Marcus Williams is going to have about 6 or 7 this year. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's just going to be a couple of right time, but I think he's going to be one of the guys that is a ball hawk this year. So
he
Marcus
got
Williams
off to a fast start last year,
and then he broke his wrist.
Yeah.
So, Marcus Williams is going to lead the team in interceptions. Yeah. Our sack leader is going to be David Ojabo. I think he's going to have 10. I think he's going to have 10 and a half. I think Oweh's going to have. Yeah, I think Oweh's going to have 6. I think Jadavion's going to have 8. I think Bowser's going to have 5.
If they get 8 sacks out of Clowney, that'd be big.
Right. So I think that we might have one of those units, those outside pass rush units that might have 40 combined sacks between the 4 of them. 35 low end. Leading receiver this year, I'm going to stick to my guns from earlier, even though you made a fantastic argument. I think leading receiving yards is going to be Zay. I think leading touchdowns is going to be Mark Andrews. Okay. Our leading rusher, I'm going to split it again. I think our leading rusher is going to be JK if healthy. I think he's going to lead the running backs in the yardage. But I believe Gus Edwards is going to lead the team in rushing touchdowns. I think that between both of them, they could probably have 15 on the ground this year. But it wouldn't surprise me if Gus was 700 yards, but he has 10 touchdowns, where JK might have 1,000 or 1,100, but he only has 5. He's a home run guy. They don't really use him in the goal. They proved last year that they don't trust him on the goal line, because if they trusted JK on the goal line, we win that Cincinnati playoff game. Yeah. And they don't go 99 yards to the house on a fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a good job of blocking that in my mind.
Thanks for bringing that back up.
Speaking of your predictions questions, I'm going to give you another one. I believe Lamar Jackson plays the entire year.
Okay.
And I believe that this is his first season where he's going to throw for over 4,000 yards.
4,000 yards, how many TDs, how many picks?
I think he's going to have 28 touchdowns. And I think he's going to have 9 interceptions.
That's good. How many rushing yards?
I think he's going to hover around maybe 600.
That would be almost MVP talk.
I think that he's going to have a couple of games where he gets 100, and then I think he's going to have a couple of games where he gets hardly any. I don't think this offense is going to predicate him running intentionally. I would hope Monken doesn't do that.
I think he's most dangerous running off the pass, scrambling, running, not design runs.
Yeah, he's more dangerous when he's playing backyard football.
Mm-hmm.
And the design runs were good while it was here, but you had a 300-pound fullback and you had guards that could pull exceptionally well in that time frame. But I think Lamar throws for 4,000 this year. I know I'm going to hear people say, "Oh, that's not true," because he's never thrown for over 3. But this is a different offense. It's a more wide open offense. He threw for
over 3 MVP year, didn't he?
I think he only threw for 2,600 that year because he ran for 1,200 that year.
Oh, I gotta look this up, man. I thought he threw for over 3,000.
I don't think he's thrown over 3,000 yards yet.
Ooh, that would be crazy.
I'm almost positive he's never had over 3,000 passing yards in his entire career. I want to say that the highest was his MVP year.
Let me see what he's looking like.
I think he had 3,600 combined yards. Or 3,800 combined yards a year.
He threw 30. He threw 31.
It was okay, so it was 30. I mean, that's still not a lot for an NFL quarterback. Now that was
30. Look, 31, 36 TDs, 6 touchdowns. I mean, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
That was the MVP year. So he cracked 3,000, but he hasn't been close since in terms of the touchdown to interception, ratio as well. Yeah, I mean, I knew it wasn't really, he hasn't been up there in the yards, but I think this might be the year where you could see him, instead of throwing for 187 yards, he might be one of those guys that hovers around 300 yards a game. Now, more throwing means more chances for an interception. Yeah. So I think that I don't think he cracks double-digit interceptions this year. I think he gets close, but it wouldn't surprise me if Lamar hovered around that 28 touchdown mark. I don't think he's going to have that dynamite 36 touchdown year that he had in 2019 because it was unexpected. He had a rookie Hollywood. He had a second-year Andrews. So
the most interceptions he ever threw was 13.
And that was 21. Yeah, I know it was. I wasn't last year because he didn't play that much. What do you think? What do you think? Answer your own questions now. Who do you think our leaders are going to be across the board?
So on the defense, I agree with you. I think it's going to be Marcus Williams for interceptions. Sacks, I'm going to go with Oweh. I think he's going to have like 7 sacks.
It's going to be a long year if our leading sack production artist is 7.
It depends.
Unless you're getting 7 from like 6 different guys.
Yeah, maybe get 6 from 6 different guys.
Right. See, I'm gonna circle back to it. I don't mean to cut you off, Kay. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I'm gonna circle back to it. We're spoiled when it comes to the defensive side of the ball for this organization. You got your heir apparent to Ray Lewis 11 years later. Roquan is the closest thing we've had to Ray in Baltimore since Ray retired. Mosley was good.
Yeah.
Darryl Smith was good.
They weren't that player. Yeah.
But think about the pass rushers that we've had in Baltimore since we got over here. We've had Burnett, McCrary, Boulware, Doomerville, Suggs, Kruger, McPhee on their first go-arounds. Then you had Judon. You had Zadarius Smith in your organization. There's an expectation to being a pass rusher in Baltimore to be more than just a one-trick pony. We drafted Terrell Suggs at number 10 overall in 2003. He came in and had 10.5, and he wasn't even a starter.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the year where Suggs and Doomerville started, bookend from each other, they had almost 40 between both of them. They had over 35 between both of them. And now we got these defensive ends, linebackers that can almost get there. You need to get there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt your flow, but you need to get there. It's imperative.
And especially because they passing the ball a lot more than they did back then. So you got more opportunities to get sacks.
And you had pass rushers all over the place. You had guys like Suggs that could get pressure from either side going off that left tackle or that right tackle. You had Haloti Ngata that could get pressure from the 3, the 5, and the nose. You had Trevor Price that could get pressure from the 3 and the 5 gap. Then you had guys like Brandon Williams who could get pressure up the middle. Pierce can get pressure up the middle. But the thing is that we need those guys that are going to get to the quarterback and bring these guys down. So proceed. I'm sorry. I got on my little soapbox for a second.
I'm with you. So what else? I said that on sacks. What else? Receiving. I think as far as yards, I think it's still going to be Andrews for receiving yards. Touchdowns also still Andrews. As far as the receivers go, like I said, I think it's going to be Bateman. But overall, I think it's going to still be Andrews. This is where I might shock you at. Rushing yards. Call me crazy. I just got a feeling. I think it's going to be Melvin Gordon.
I don't even think Melvin Gordon makes the team.
I think he will.
Now you're talking about who gets cut.
That's why I put that question up earlier. I think they keep Melvin Gordon.
At the expense of what running back? Unless you get a crazy offer for JK or you get a crazy offer for Gus, do you cut Justice Hill 1 year, the first year into his extension, to keep Gordon? I think Gordon's one of those guys that we keep around on the practice squad as a veteran exception for injury purposes.
I think that 4 running back comes in because we're going to get rid of Ricard.
That's interesting. That's.
Do you think so? Think about it like this. Do you think JK is going to be ready week 1?
Yes. I don't think he's going to have a choice. I think he's going to make it.
I think it's going to be. It depends. Like I think that's another one of the players that I'm going to be looking to see what they do in this next preseason game is Melvin Gordon.
I'm going to say Gordon doesn't make the team for the simple fact that he cannot hold on to the ball. He is a fumble machine. He has been,
that definitely will get you cut.
What is the first thing that Harbaugh benches a running back for? Not holding on to the football.
Yep. I remember that with Alex Collins, rest in peace.
R.I.P. to Alex Collins.
Yeah.
Collins was dynamite, but he couldn't hold on to the ball. Harbaugh benched him. We had another electric running back in the preseason, Tyson Williams. Electric. Fast. Fumbling problem. Bernard Pierce. Fumbling problem. Terrence West. Fumbling problem.
Who was that other running back that I thought he was number 30? I think that was Bernard Pierce.
Bernard Pierce out of Temple.
Was he number 30, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he was good, but just couldn't hang on to the ball.
Harbaugh isn't going to go for anybody that can't. So, just to round out the show, Kay, you've been gracious. You literally commented on the status last minute, and I called you and you hopped on. Thank you for making the show possible, and we kind of went and did a whole other show after the trivia.
All right.
So my question to you is, who is the Ravens starting left guard week 1?
Ooh, left guard.
because you know
It's hard to say because they didn't play any of the starters in preseason, so it's hard to get a look at them. But just going off of names and from last year, I'm gonna go with Ben Cleveland. But it's really hard to say because you really don't get to lay eyes on them.
if you remember correctly, if you can remember correctly, I remember correctly because it was all over Twitter, it was all over Facebook. Jalen Carter beat his ass the entire time they played against each other on Saturday night. Cleveland is 6'8". He's 350 pounds. As a mountain of a human being. He just doesn't have no bend. Okay, he bends at the waist and not at the hips.
I mean, who else do they got? Makari? Is Makari still on the team?
Yeah, he's still on the team, but I don't think Makari cracks left guard for the simple fact that he's a valuable swing tackle. So they're not going to take him and put him at left guard, even though they should most likely put him at left guard. I honestly think it's going to come down between John Simpson, who came over from Oakland, or it's gonna be the rookie with the really long last name and the long hair
from USC.
Yeah, I think he played at Oregon.
Oh, the one at USC is the one that got the ACL, I think.
Yeah, that's Andrew Voorhees, who I think is going to be our starting left guard next year. I think that 2024, he's going to be the left guard. They didn't waste a draft pick on him if they didn't, because he was projected to be a second rounder before he tore his ACL.
Yeah. So kind of the same thing they did with Ojabo.
Yeah. Ojabo wasn't going to fall much farther. They made that pick based on the future and not on 2022. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be either Simpson or it's going to be the young Samoan guy.
It'd be interesting.
I got to practice. Yeah, I got to practice his name because, I don't want to look like an asshole. But,
that'd be interesting to see. Like I said, a lot of this will get figured out, I think, in this preseason game because I know normally, they don't play anybody that they have in their plans to start in the third preseason game. So if there's any spots up for grabs still, it's going to be decided in this game, I think.
I agree with you. Kay, I want to thank you for coming on the show, brother. We're about to hit that hour and 10 mark.
No problem, man. Appreciate you having me on.
I always love chopping it up with you.
Sure.
Let everybody know what you got going on YouTube. You are making waves, my man. I'm proud of you.
Appreciate it.
Going on YouTube and monetizing yourself is a very challenging career path, and I know that's not your day job. But let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube. Just type in Kedrick Foster. I do tech reviews. I actually was already set up because I was about to shoot a video. I'm about to review this microphone, so that's why I was already set up. When you told me hop on, I was like, all right, hop on real quick. So actually, I'm about to shoot a video now. But if you into tech, if you into like upgrading your home theater, your man cave, any of that stuff, got about over 100 videos on my page. So if you want to check them out, just type in Kedrick Foster.
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get you back on some point in time in the Ravens during the Ravens season. You can come back on and now that I know that you're doing the whole tech thing, I'll have you over on the solo show and we can promote your business, my man. We'll set that up.
Cool, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, no problem, man. Just hang around 1 second for post show and that's a wrap, folks. Join us on Monday night. Josh will be back. And we will be doing an immediate reaction to the Ravens and Washington Commanders game. Tune in then. Thank you all for playing with the, following along for the trivia. Kay, thank you for participating.
No problem.